Hello, everybody. My name is Avery McQuirter. I am 20 years old and I'm from Ottawa, Canada. I'm currently entering my 4th year of university in a global and international studies program. And in that, I'm specializing in sociology. So I'm focusing on global inequalities and social change. And I also have special interests in Indigenous resistance and racial equity. So I am the social media coordinator for Gaia Protection. I've been working with Leela and the entire team for about 10 months now. And I am also the founder and co-lead of Disturb the Establishment, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. So just to kind of introduce the whole idea behind Disturb the Establishment, in 2020, the world saw some of the largest and longest protests in history. The pandemic and its effects, as well as viral instances of human rights violations, led millions of young people to demand systemic change around the world. And so in response to this, we decided to create a platform to help educate young people. And so my story is I have been politically and socially engaged since I was about 15 years old. And the things that mattered to me then were climate change and Indigenous resistance. So in December 2020, I attended a webinar featuring the environmentalist David Suzuki, the author Margaret Atwood, and the Indigenous land protector Sheila Watt-Cloutier. And so this webinar spoke about climate activism and the race to fight climate change. And it was kind of like a motivational event with many great quotes that inspired me, like make the commitment and magic will happen, as well as we have to change what is to what if. But the one that stuck with me most was change happens when we imagine what our future can look like. And so this really resonated with me because I know that activism can be mentally draining. You know, you can feel hopeless about your future, but by creating the platform that we created, people are free to learn at their own pace and reignite feelings of hope for their own futures. All right, so what is Disturb the Establishment exactly? So Disturb the Establishment is a platform dedicated to teaching young people about social justice and human rights concepts and events. We strive to create an environment in which students can freely engage with and critique the systems that we live in. So we focus on education because we truly believe that that is the first step to making real world change. And by doing this, we encourage youth to become well-rounded activists and gain knowledge in a variety of different topics, such as climate change, racial equity, Indigenous rights, disability rights, and stuff like that. So our mission is that simply we believe in young people, and we believe that the current generation is the most politically engaged generation that's ever existed, pretty much. And we have the capacity to completely change the world. So this is our amazing team. As of today, we've reached almost 1,400 people with Disturb the Establishment, and I've added 3 fantastic ladies to my team, who I'm very grateful for, and they do amazing work for us, whether that be creating content for social media or creating longer blog posts for our website. And so we decided to focus on digital activism because we know that social media is a huge part in young people's lives. And we also know that young people dream of a world free from oppression, discrimination, and violence. Thus, we decided to merge these values to create an online platform for future-oriented youth. And we know that digital activism can result in real-world change, as we've seen during the Arab Spring, the protests for justice for George Floyd, and the protests for freedom in Palestine. And so all of that starts with learning about the issues that matter to you and envisioning the future that you want. So this is our platform. It basically focuses on social media as a tool for creating long-lasting change. We encourage open conversations for each topic that we post about, and we support criticism of that topic or the way that we've presented it as well. So we don't shy away from other opinions or perspectives. We also allow our community to give us feedback on how we're doing, and we collaborate with similar platforms to help spread our message. And as for our platform, we do use these kind of graphics. They're almost like slideshows to make social justice education palatable and accessible to everybody. So they're super easy to digest and kind of gives you the basics on each topic. So if you choose, you can choose to delve deeper into the topic as we do cite our sources. So what do we talk about? So as I kind of mentioned before, some stuff that we focus on are climate justice, racial equity, Indigenous resistance, LGBT rights, international human rights, sex positivity, oppressive systems, and citizen activism, and more. So these are some examples of our work. So the first one, the first Pride was a riot, is kind of an example of how we cover events that happened in the past and kind of talk about how they relate to social justice today. And we have climate wars, what are they? So this is kind of taking the research of a specific academic and then putting it into a slideshow and basically detailing their research. What is mutual aid? So this is an example of like a concept or like a specific topic within social justice that we decide to focus on. And then the Wally one, that was just kind of a post to kind of lighten things up a bit and kind of take a break from the draining task of having to learn about some horrible things. So this was a really fun post that a lot of people liked, I think. And then lastly, we have current events such as what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah, Palestine. And so as for what we are aiming towards in the future, this year's goals include successfully launch our summer event series, which I'm actually going to take a moment to talk about right now. So we are launching our very first ever events this summer called the D2E Talks. And so these are bi-weekly events where people can come and speak about a specific topic that's been assigned for that week. So our first one is policing in Canada, and that's actually happening next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. EST. We're going to have a great guest speaker from the Coalition Against Human Trafficking of Ottawa. So that's super exciting. And you can find the rest of the events on our Instagram or our website as well. And the next goal is to acquire funding to ensure that the rest of our events are great, whether that be compensating speakers or hosting giveaways. And next, we want to create online resources for young activists, such as bystander training, anti-racism toolkits, and more. We would like to expand our audience from Instagram over to our Facebook and our website. We'd love to get more traffic to our website, which is why we have the amazing Mayev on my team who is working on our blog. And lastly, we'd like to begin sending monthly newsletters to our website subscribers so they can stay up to date with what's going on and all of our events that are upcoming. And so lastly, how can you support us? So first of all, if you came to the events, that would be fantastic. We'd love to hear your perspective and kind of your thoughts, your questions about the topic that we're discussing that particular week. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can interact with our content, and once again, share your perspective and share our platform with your friends.
Thank you so much for really presenting us that work that you've been doing as well. And I think it's really beautiful because I feel that there are different layers towards activism, you know, like there is the part of really education and understanding a topic, reflecting it, having conversations and really broadening your horizon in those fields. And that's the first step from really everything, because before you go into a place, into a community, you need to understand and analyze the environment there. And that's why the initiative that you have been working on, it's really, really crucial. And I think it's something that's more important than ever, especially for our generation. So I do have a question. What do you think? How is media influencing us nowadays? And why is it more important than ever to create alternative media streams like these ones, open panelists and open events where speakers from different areas can come together to really learn and grow with each other?
Yeah, it's really important that we're getting our information from credible sources. And I'm just going to use kind of what's been going on in Palestine as an example. So last week, we were flooded with all of this news about human rights violations occurring in Palestine. And right away, people started posting to their social media. And I think that's a very easy way for misinformation to spread. People tend to look at the title of an article, but not even read the contents, and they'll just post the article without kind of checking to see what it's actually saying. But also, I think it's important to not only look at the event that's happening at the moment, but also look at the history of why is that event happening now? What led to that event? And so that's what we talk about with this Disturb the Establishment. We kind of go into the background and kind of give you the lowdown on different topics. So that way you're not just kind of learning a little bit about everything, but you're kind of delving deeper into what matters most to you, which I think is kind of how you can make the most change, is if you're as educated as possible on that topic that you're passionate about.
What would be some next steps? Let's say in your ideal vision, people come and spend time on your platform, start to interact, start to read, start to really research about specific projects. What would be a specific action and hands-on approach to then make a change in the world, or basically start interacting with the problem in the future?
That's a really interesting question. As I was saying, we do kind of focus on preparing someone to go and make that real world change, whether whatever that may be. But I guess the next step would be to be exposed to other perspectives, which is why we, allow for discussions to happen on our posts. And we don't delete comments. We don't talk negatively about people who may have different perspectives to us, because even if it's not the perspective that you share, you are being exposed to it, and you can try and, whether that be try and fix it if you feel like that's the right way to go, or work with those people to create a solution that works for everybody.
Great. Yes, I love it. I really see a lot of this like think tank kind of movement behind that as well. It's like, yeah, radical, transparent, and open communication, and of course, like, that's the beauty of our humanity. There is so much difference, and there is so much biodiversity in the different personality types and the different interests and approaches that each and every one of us has, and ultimately it's what makes us special and unique too, right? It's like having the opportunity to express our concerns and different opinions. So yeah, well done. Thank you so much for taking your time. I wish you all the best with this platform, and I'm already convinced and sure that there is potential beautiful collaboration waiting for us in the future. And yeah, just wish you all the best, and hope to learn and read a lot of interesting things and soon, and also get to know and listen to those amazing speakers that are waiting for us in the near future.